see more beef come true, and I think that's the thing I like to see the most. I like to see that flame in the chat after, just when the last game ends, when you see like easy top just appear, and you're just like, yeah, that's the spice that I need in my life.
It does appear that our audio is muted right now, and I hope that Chris is seeing that and is picking that up. So hopefully that'll be fixed in a matter of moments. Welcome, everybody. I'm sad you missed our great intro. In case you missed it, I'm What Too Pretty. That's Sator. We haven't worked together before this season, but I'm excited to be able to work with someone who's been a veteran of the industry, working here since they're 18 and you're what now, 30 something?
Yeah, I'm 30. I'm old as hell. Don't worry about it. We're just going to skip past all that stuff and go back to Flaming Chris for being bad at his job. He's been doing it for 3 years now. But no. Chris is a brilliant producer. I'm going to put that out there before I continue to flame him. But yeah, new season, new changes, new teams, new faces. And of course, it's going to be a brand new season for us. We're going to be watching a lot of games together. So we may get into this one nice, nitty gritty and early. But I think the main thing is the two teams we're seeing today, TMGW and LZS. We've done a little bit of research. We've seen one thing that stood out, and I think we both said it. It's the Riven one trick. I think we have to touch on that just a little bit, because I don't see Riven a lot anymore. Well, NA is a different landscape to what I'm used to, because I am EU.
Yeah, it's slightly different over here than things are over there. But I think the other important thing to note is that we are in a true fearless scenario here for the entirety of the regular season and playoffs. We will be playing with a fearless draft. For any of you who are those who are unaware, at this point, you probably shouldn't be, but we're going to give you a refresher anyway. Fearless means that anytime a champion is picked, no matter what side it's on, it cannot be picked for the rest of the set of games. So if you go to a best of 3, that's alongside the 10 bans that you're already doing, 20 other champions that will not be able to be played. So it really is going to force champions and players to dig into those pools, pick those niche ones, and figure out exactly what's going to fit your comp the best when, say, you can't just first pick Cassante every game, which, feels great for casters because I don't have to say, oh, well, it's Cassante top versus Tank Jace, I guess, is now the flavor. I get to see this matchup for the 20th time today. Wahoo.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Jace's at the moment. So I just got absolutely demolished by one. But no, it is Fearless has always been a format I've always pushed for whenever I'm running tournaments or part of tournaments or just jumping in to give people a hand trying to set these things up, because not only does it add more to the game, it makes people think more, and we don't get to see the same stuff. And more importantly, metas don't matter when the champions aren't available. It's different when you can kind of fit a champion to a meta, like you have the Skarner jungles coming through, and Zac can kind of fit the same one, big tanky CC, he'll do the job. But if you lose a Skarner and then you just ban the Zac, you kind of have to move back towards Jarvans, and other things like that can further help your team. So changing the meta just by eliminating champions is a much better format overall. And I'm really hoping to see what I've seen in the NLC quite a lot is just ban all the ADCs. Just see what happens.
Yeah, so those AD carry pools are pretty small, and the meta AD carries, quote unquote, tend to be a very select pool of champions. So potentially we will see a lot of focus down there, but we're going to have to see what they end up doing, because this season is also very different from seasons past. We got a whole new jungle monster in Atakan, the Noxian spirit, who was according to the lore, revived from one of Mordekaiser's buddies way back in the day. We don't care about the lore. We care about the buffs. There's 2 versions of it that we might actually see in
Say you hate Arcane. Just say you hate Arcane with your chest.
Arcane.
Like, say it with your chest.
I love Arcane personally.
Who cares about the lore?
I personally care a lot about the lore, but I know everybody's here for the gameplay. Yeah, we can talk a little bit about Otacon. There's 2 versions of it. The one you see in pro play all the time, which I believe is called Voracious, which is the one where there's not a lot of kills happening in the game, and it gives you a Guardian Angel when you kill it. It's a one-time buff that you get a revive. It's all right. The one that is a lot better, but we won't be seeing very much, as unfortunately, is the Ruinous one, which gives you, if there's a lot of kills happening in the game, you get a 25% buff to every neutral objective. That includes dragons, barons, rift heralds, and void grubs, I think is the big one. It's a massive buff, but unfortunately, we don't get to see it very often in pro play because every game is slow as all get out. So you know what? In true Titan fashion, I want to see some blood. I want to see some heavy action games, and give me at least one Ruinous Otacon this season. I'll be happy.
I will be terrified to see Ruinous Otacon and Rift Herald at the same time. I know you've pointed it out, but that would be terrifying. That thing's running at your Nexus.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Could we get a dancing? Never mind. I'm gonna get out of that thought right now. And I just want to see a Nexus get one shot by Sion and the Rift Herald at the same time.
Double
absolutely
charge
perfect.
into the Nexus is the dream. But we are here jumping into the draft here for game number 1. As we said, it's True Minded Gaming Warriors, and it is lane 0 Sabers. True Minded Gaming Warriors on the blue side, banning away the Roar and the Wukong. And LZS already seeing that Rivet one trick in the OPGG, saying, hey, we're just not going to mess with it. Ban out the one tricks, get rid of that immediately off the board.
I'm very surprised to see so many kind of ADCs being left open, with Kalista, Varus kind of being the two kind of staple picks, at least in LPL, LCK at the moment. I know that Kalista has a 0% win rate, but it has been one of those picks that everyone is going for. But bot side, it just seems that they are the choices you go for, alongside the Corki as well. Also, Victor has been left open. So the key picks here are available.
Jinx was one that I was thinking of. It is going to be locked in. Every time I see a Jinx on the board, I say that this now has to be an entirely Jinx-focused game. Either Jinx gets ahead in the bottom lane for TMG, and they're feeling great. But if Jinx gets behind, or they don't draft a comp that can let Jinx play the game she wants to play, suddenly things aren't very fun. And especially when you're looking at a Kalista with potentially paired with something like a Renata or a Blitzcrank or even a Lulu, life can get very difficult, or even a Pantheon, to really step up the aggression in that bottom lane, potentially support Pantheon here.
Yeah, that's a nice little flex pick. It does put a little bit of a spear shot angle in there that you could change it up, but we're going to see the Cassante as per usual. It's always going to appear at some stage. We're just going to just brush it to the side. We're not going to talk about it. It's over there. It's over in the corner. It's happy. It's
I'd rather talk about this Pantheon as a potentially four-way flex between support, mid, jungle, and top. It gives a lot of versatility for LZS coming into this. We do see that Gragas potentially support, but most likely headed into that jungle, since it is probably not top lane with that Cassante already locked in. And we're getting some other classic standard picks with the Renekton, which the Renekton lock-in tells me that either this is going to be Pantheon jungle, or we're going to be seeing it down there in the bottom lane. And I think these next set of bans will really tell us exactly where it's going to go.
Could they flex that Cassante into mid lane and put that Gragas top to counter the Renekton harder?
I mean, Cassante versus Renekton is already not very well Renekton favored. It's why I'm kind of surprised to see this Renekton on 3, looking down the barrel of Gragas Cassante. Either way, it is not going to be a super fun matchup for him. Maybe in the early game, he gets a little poke off, but in the mid and late game, he's just going to get outscaled so hard.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like there's a couple of choices they could make here if they're really thinking about swapping things up. But I'm very interested to see what the support that's going to pair with Jinx is, because it's either you go full tank and let Jinx scale and farm and stay safe and take like a Braum and just sit back, or do you take the Milio and you try and pressure that Kalista a little bit? But Kalista is so oppressive in the lane. Once those spears start hitting, they don't stop, and that Rend will eliminate you. But Talia to come in on top of that, stop some of those dashes from the Cassante and the Gragas. But a Nautilus, so the tank going to stay safe, but they do have a little bit of engage to help with maybe that Gragas jungle. I still think there's a little bit of flexibility there, but that Talia is worrying for the mid.
Yeah, I think running Gragas into Talia wouldn't be great. Ahri, I argue, is even a little bit worse, as her ultimate is almost entirely shut down by that unraveled earth. But now we're going to see if this Pantheon is going to be headed into the support, or if it's going to be the jungle with the last pick from LZS. It's the final swap up. They're going to send the Pantheon to the jungle, and it's going to be Rel Kalista in that bottom
Is it Pantheon jungle or Talia jungle?
It could be Talia jungle. I'd have to guess that with the Ahri matchup, you'd want to run the Talia in mid lane.
You'd want to, but it all depends on what they play. And I'm looking at the kind of the picks here, and Alive, I don't see a Talia in there. I see some Silas, but I don't see Pantheon. Yeah, this one's going to be an interesting one. It's a lot easier, obviously, to see it on the other side, but it will be Talia mid. And they're going to bring that Pantheon into the jungle. I'm a little bit... I feel like they took the flex and then they kind of decided last second where they wanted to put it. I feel like there was a plan that kind of fell apart when they started to see some of those tanks come through, and they went, maybe Pantheon can't play mid if it is a Gragas mid, because things can get messed up there. But how do you feel about the two drafts? Do you have a feeling towards one, like a 51% win rate kind of chance coming through?
I mean, I'm looking across the board. We mentioned earlier, top of the day, that Kalista is very strong in terms of the meta right now. Not a high win rate, but has a lot of presence in pro play, has a lot of good early game skirmishes, and early game skirmishes are good against a bottom lane like Jinx Nautilus. But I'm also looking at Jinx with 2.5 to 3 tanks on her team, depending on how Gragas builds. And when I see that, I got to assume that Jinx is happy with that.
Yeah, I'm looking at this lane swap coming through, and it's something I already said that I absolutely hate, and
Oh,
I'm from
not the
old
lane
school league,
swap.
but yeah, they're going for the lane swap. We're going to see who can pull it off a little bit better. I do think that Toomey and Idris here, if they do manage to get that dive off, it's going to be a little bit harder for them because Cassante does have a little bit more survivability. Well, the Crocodile is a little bit squishier. You put some armor plating on the Crocodile, then it's a little bit scarier, but it's going to be... Yeah, I think Jackie is going to have a very tough time here against this top side.
Yeah, this is kind of why Cassante has been such a prevalent pick, pretty much for the entirety of his time in pro play. Pro comps does seem to think that LZS has a better draft here, but Cassante in a lane swap tends to be a lot better in terms of dealing with dives, dealing with the early game pressure, and even if he doesn't get a lot of gold and XP, he's still Cassante at the end of the day. But Renekton likes to have that lane pressure, likes to play aggressive, and Jackie has to be careful here. Fool is going to look for the hook and they'll land it. So they're going to get a lot of damage here. Ignite already popped. Jackie's just going to go under a third HP, nearly under a quarter, and is going to be forced to, at the very least, use that TP, if not, try and figure out some other way to navigate this lane.
Yeah, there's going to be no walking with the jungler that we saw in previous seasons at the start in some of the competitive pro play where you just kind of follow your jungler around until they get the wave in, which was a very interesting meta, and Toomey just going to reset the jump there. That wasn't a misclick before anyone starts screaming in the chat. That was just to get out of the horse form and get onto those 2 feet and get ready for a quicker stun. But Jackie does get back in time. We'll be able to get some of this XP, and we're not going to see the dive come through too early as both junglers currently still on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, I do also want to say that if you're going to have a lane that's great on a dive, Jinx Nautilus is probably not the one I would think of. While Jinx has a lot of great range pressure, as we're seeing here, those rockets, doesn't have a lot of damage in the early game. And while Nautilus sets up a lot of CC, Gragas isn't going to do a ton until he has that first item. Jinx is not going to do a ton until she has at least 2 items. So I think at the very least, Jackie can feel safe with this Doran shield that he can just sit back and farm up for a little bit, especially with Toomey rotating over to come and help out.
Yeah, I'm going to send that rel up towards the top side. Zenkara shouldn't have too much pressure on this Kalista just yet. Should be a little bit safer. Idris won't be able to get that 1v1 off. As much as we like to kind of smurf and say, oh, Cassante's the best thing in the game, he can do this at any point. Like,
yeah, he gets a little dash in. Idris still level 2 and Zenkara's level 3, so Idris actually in a decent bit of trouble here. If this Q3 lands, this could just be a dead Kalista. Knocked up, but the spear is just too many in Zenkara currently. A little worried as that Ren comes through, and Zenkara eats quite a hefty chunk, but this is the issue with leaving your AD carry alone.
Oh, no.
Although not alone for long, as Zenkara's going to go back. Idris does have the barrier, so pops that one immediately. And now Zenkara, realizing that he's in trouble, is going to force a flash out of Idris. Doesn't get the Q in, but it's first blood over to Valstixi here. First blood of 2025.
Yeah, but here comes the return on the top side. As we do see, they're all going in onto the Renekton. The flash has been using Toomey in a little bit of trouble now. Do they have the reset to jump? They have the flash. They will be able to get away. But Buster...
Ooh, Buster has to be a bit careful. Ends up trying to go for the dive there, but doesn't manage to make anything happen. Good defensive play there by Toomey and Jackie. Just saying, hey, we already got the win on the bottom side. Let's just walk away and take our win where we get it.
Yeah, that was a decent response, but they do win on the side of LZS for that one as they do get first blood. 2 more kills and they get that feat of war, and that will get them set up quite nicely. I think one of the things we do need to talk about when it comes to the feats is if you do lose the kills one, as the jungler that loses that, you feel so much pressure on you to get every single objective, and it's almost like engulfing everything you do as a jungler, because most junglers like to go, I'll tree camp and I'll get a gank off, we'll get some prio, and then I'll go to an objective. But when you lose that, you're like, if I don't get both of these objectives, they have a 2-1 lead over me, and it's going to get very, very dangerous for me if we don't time these right. So then they're like, I have to get this Drake, I have to get these grubs, I have to make sure everything's warded, make sure everyone's on the same page as me. And it just engulfs you as a jungler, and you have so much to think about, and that's when mistakes happen. And
yeah,
just like that, game has to be paused, mistakes happened.
I do think it's nice that the change came through, that it did swap over from just first blood over to the first 3 kills, because it does give the players a little bit of breathing room in the early game. You're not in solo queue seeing your top lane lose a 1v1 and then immediately thinking, they're halfway to getting those upgraded boots. This game is going to suck. But, you know, sometimes Riot does make changes that we appreciate. Unfortunately, though, we do have a pause going on. We're going to get an update on what exactly is happening, hopefully soon. But for now, we're just kind of forced to sit and wait, and we get to take a breather. And unfortunately, Sador, I think this is going to be a slow game. I have to imagine that we're going to be seeing a voracious Otacon unless things pick up in pace real soon.
Yeah, it's a slow-paced game. I don't mind that. First game back, jumping back into Titan, I like to see what the teams can do just individually and not see an overly messy game where you see like a kill into 2 back and then 3 back and it's just constant messy fights. This is my first time looking at all of these players here. I get to see exactly what they're doing and how they want to do things. This is the way they want to play. They want to slow everything down, keep the tempo low, and pick the right moments. As we saw Malstixi in the bot side, waited it out, got through his whole clear and went, oh, there's a free gank on the bot side. Zenkara stepped up a little too much. I'm here. Let's just get this kill. And it was very, very easy. There was some summoners burned. We won't forget about that. Top got ganked IRL. Okay. That happens. That happens. Thanks so much for that one. Me being a great little communicator there. That's what we want from your supports. Communication. But let's look at this. So we're going to go back to basic lanes, just flipped. We're just going to put the bot sides up in the top side and see what happens from there. But Malstixi, first one on the move towards this. Will a dive happen here, Idris? Enough with a recurve? I don't think so.
Yeah, I've been watching a bit of a LEC recently. They like to call this the Australian setup, where they just have the bottom lane go up and the top lane go to the bottom. He's just flipped over in reverse. We are going to have the slight delay there to get everything back in time. I do also want to point out, Buster123 on this Gragas first recall for the needlessly large rod is a bold choice. And it tells me that this Gragas is not going to be having any sort of tank items at all in this game.
Who needs tank items when you can just one-shot things?
I mean, that tends to be the thought process when you're going to electrocute Gragas.
Dead, they can't hurt you, Britty.
It's a fair point, but when you're looking, for me specifically, when I'm looking at a draft with a Jinx in it, with an Ahri in it, and even with a Cassante in it, is this a draft that really needs more damage?
But if Gragas casts Gun,
he just explodes them with the cast, as the grubs are going to be started up here by Malstixi. First feat of warfare still up on the table. First blood was gone over, but still 2 more kills for them, and it looks like we're just going to have the objectives traded 1 for 1. So it seems like the tower might be the deciding factor in these first feats of strength here in our game number 1.
Yeah, so it's going to be a nice even trade for the start of it. I do prefer the grubs for the side of LZS right now because they do have a lot of pressure in this top side. Jinx historically is very, very good at taking towers, but Kalista and Rel are just able to control Zenkara in this top side. Cassante doesn't have a lot to work with pre-6 and still being level 5. A couple of free plates. Malstixi is sitting up in this top side as well. Going to make sure they stay safe. Here comes the 6, but will they go for the ult over the wall onto Toomey? Are they going to... it's getting dangerous up here. That could be a gank coming very, very soon.
Yeah, Zenkara didn't fail that ward in the Triburst as well, so Malstixi currently unspotted. Zenkara has no idea that this Pantheon is there. He's going to spot it out now. Nice little shield there into the spear. I think it's just going to try and walk this one out with Toomey and Idris being too far away to get any sort of follow-up. With the Bramble Vest, I don't expect there to be a kill, but Zenkara might want to make something happen. Pops that unstoppable. Gets moving, but nothing else. Just as an escape tool, so no kills handed over, but it's going to be a lot of plates over to Idris and Toomey.
You know what's bad when your Cassante is going all out to get out? That's never really a good sign, but Jackie doing a much better job on the spot side, much more farm, a lot more XP. Tower's looking a lot healthier, and that's the grubs already coming through for them. That little bit of extra damage from Infernal isn't going to help you in these stages too much. There's going to be no very, very low percent health that you're just going to get that extra little bit for, and Jackie should be able to clear out most of this. Cool one is kind of hovering around, making sure that the Jinx won't be getting stunned, making sure just to stand on top of the Jinx, because yeah, it's a big target when you're playing Nautilus.
Yeah, hard to get the stun up on Jinx when there's a Nautilus standing right on top of her. As Flash Charm attempted by Devil Milk Tea, but doesn't get it. Buster does have the explosive cast, but doesn't think that they have the damage to take out alive, so not going for any sort of tower dive just yet. I do agree with you. I think the grubs in the early game, especially for this LZS team, very, very helpful. I will say if this game goes later and the longer this game goes on, the more this Infernal Dragon is going to have some value. So I think we'll have to keep our eye on the timer here, as Jinx is always putting a team on a ticking clock. When does this champion become Thanos? When does she start just half-hitting people with those rockets? Because the thing for this LZS team is they only really have one true tank in this rel, and being a tank on support economy does not always mean that you are the tankiest champion on the Rift.
Yeah, so I think it's one of the things that actually Bwippo spoke about. saying that like the more melee you have, the higher chance you have of losing. And I think with Buster having that little bit of extra range with the Gragas is definitely going to help them. And then you add damage on top of that with the Jinx range. I think they do have a much better comp. This Pantheon is kind of the sore thumb in this comp, so to speak. It can be very useful, or it can get outscaled very quickly. And the spear, if it lands and they get a good ult, yeah, it could do a lot. But it's already, see, the first feat of war being taken this game is tower. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, you can tell we're in for a slow one there. His first tower at 9.5 minutes here for LZS. A lot of gold for Idris as Jumi's gonna find Buster here, lanes a stun, but no real follow-up. Pops the Magnet Storm, but Mouse60 is just wants this blue buff. We've said screw it, we don't want kills. One is all we need, and we're just gonna take every bit of little gold that we can outside of that.
Yeah, that is the first time I've seen a tower being the first feat of war taken, but LZS one up so far. They've got the first tower. Where are we going to see the next set of kills? Because they can't let them get 6 grubs. That's just something that we can't see. Yeah. That can't happen. So that should be the big fight. But with their bot side still being bought and it coming up now in what, 30 seconds, 40 seconds or so, we should see them have to move up soon, no?
Yeah, I mean, if you give over these 6 grubs, not only is it the second objective towards those 3, but it's also just 6 grubs on a team with Kalista, a team with Renekton, who I will say, you mentioned Jackie doing excellently in this side lane earlier. Still doing a fantastic job. Has a level over Zankara. Still holding onto that TP. Did not use it in that last scuffle as... Now with the pressure topside, Toomey wants to go for a dive here. They've got Devil Milk Tea, one more auto. Toomey just locks it down with the crowd control, and that's 2 out of 3 for the feat of war.
Getting closer and closer to unlocking those extra booties. Oh, they're also getting this bot tower.
Yeah, bottom tower is going to go down, but Henry's got to be real careful as Jackie is a scary croc in that dominance. They're finally going to lock him down with all the crowd control. Teleport burned by alive to try and help out, but just too little too late. So killing a tower traded back, but it's TMGW's first kill, and LZS now gets 6 grubs to their favor.
So a tower and a kill for grubs in a game where you're already 2 kills up, I think that's worth.
Oh, yeah. I think
I'm kind of worried here.
Very happy with these trades so far.
Yeah, I know ProDraft said 62% or something, but it's coming to fruition very quickly here. As low kill as this game is, the goal lead is constantly increasing here, and it's just going to keep doing it. And Toomey is being a terror, an absolute terror right now.
Aggressive on the rail is what we like to see, and now the potential unlocking of these triumphant boots as LZS is just going to start this dragon uncontested. 3 members of TMG on the top side means that this dragon's just going to go. LZS, happy to have your new boots.
I have never seen feats taken by Drake and Tower. By
it's always
objectives. It always kills. Like, it's just such a low... Are we in LPL?
I didn't know. I haven't been seeing very much LPL. I've been watching a lot of LCK. Is LPL this slow?
1 or 2 of the games have been historically just snooze fests. But yeah, this is going to be Zankara might be in a little bit of trouble. Does have the flash available, so should be fine. Yeah.
Jimmy looked to get a little bit of reach there off the Fate's Call and the crash down, but couldn't get in range for that stun. But it's just more plates going down to LZS. These 6 grubs are putting in so much work. And yeah, Henry Rocks is getting some extra plates up there on the top side with the help of Cool, but you're taking 6 grubs versus 0. I'm putting my money on 6 grubs all day, as that's the 3rd tower down, or 2nd tower down. Sorry for LZS. That's 10 plates already.
Yeah, they are getting some back, and they are going onto the Jinx, which is very, very good. But all your eggs are in that Jinx basket right now. So with feats completed, LZS obviously have a massive advantage going into that later to mid game. But Jinx has been historically untouched here. They're doing very well, just farming, getting their items, staying safe. But Buster might have a little bit of an angle here for a little bit of damage on the Toomey, but the collapse is coming through. Devil Milk Tea
is here. There's that Magnet Storm, and Idris is here looking for the trades. We got the Pantheon ulting in as well. Buster has the explosive cat, says goodbye to me. As on the top side, that turret is going to go down, and I think for TMG, their first objectively positive trade here. They get a kill and a tower and don't lose anybody.
Yeah, that was a little bit aggressive there from Buster in the end, but yeah, it works out for them. They managed to pick up a lot off of that one. So LZS, good positioning here. The flash over the wall from Mouse60 was so unfortunate because they flashed upwards thinking the Ahri might be sitting in the back of the pit, and Ahri's like, no, I'm going home.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just sometimes how it goes. But good little call from Buster there to just try and find an engage angle, especially with Devil Milk Tea so nearby. It's a good, if you're going to be playing this damage-focused Gragas, you got to find those one-shot opportunities, because if not, it's not the Gragas days of old. I'm sure you can remember back in the day with the instant cast ultimate, the two-shotting machine that he was. QR, goodbye 80 carry.
Yeah, they were not so fun days, as I was the 80 carry back in those days.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Just PTSD Vietnam War flashbacks right now. It's like the TikTok meme where you just get one shot by Rengars. If anyone remembers the exclamation point from back in the day, that was a fun one. It's like, oh,
is
the death
this
symbol.
gonna be our casting synergy? We're just gonna talk about the good old days. Is this gonna be what we're gonna do?
Yeah, when there was more than 2 kills on each side at 15 minutes. Yeah, the good old days. When snowballing wasn't quite like objective focus, snowballing was, oh my god, my top laner's 10-0, we win.
Or, hey, my jungle Kha'Zix has 7 kills and finished Brutalizer on first recall. I guess we just win now.
Yeah, Kha'Zix has went through some changes. He's grown a lot as a bug. I've seen Bruiser Kha'Zix lately. It's been fun. It's been fun watching a Black Cleaver Kha'Zix run through the map.
Yeah, especially when he still gets to one-shot like an assassin. I personally have no issues with assassins. None at all.
As a Jinx OTP, I have a lot of problems.
I play a lot of Aerium, so a lot of my issues with assassins are, oh, hey, this champion just has like a 20% damage buff in this mode. As an assassin, that's really cool. I appreciate that. But we're not talking about Aerium here. We're still here in this game number 1. It's TMGW. It's LZS. But like you said, this game has been very slow. Normally, I would say this is in TMGW's favor because your Jinx has time to scale, but the snowballing has been all LZS's favor. They've taken early objectives. They've forced the pressure. It's just going to be a matter of what they do once Rift Herald and eventually Otacon start coming around.
I'm just saying that Henry rocks for all of the slowness that's coming from this, and there's not a lot of excitement coming from the Jinx. The fact that they're building Yun Tal and sticking to that is incredible, because in a game like this, I would be rushing Collector on Jinx. Yeah, I love Collector on Jinx, especially in games where you have like 2 or 3 squishies and you just go Collector's opportunity into Runins and you just hope for that excitement, because you're not building attack speed. You're just hoping to get one reset and run them down. That's it. And it's incredibly fun. It can lose you games, as I am a testament to that. But it is really, really fun just to see something get blown up by a Jinx and they're like, I thought she was meant to ramp, not just one shot. But right now, the tower focus from these teams, the macro sense, they're doing really well here.
Yeah, the teams are just happy to play the slower games as Jackie wants to start speeding things up. Henry Rock's in trouble. Jackie with the tower shots help. He's going to shut down Henry Rocks, and now Cool will be the next to go. Zinkara on the way, but now Zinkara stuck in the 1v4. A double kill to Jackie. Zinkara flashes over the wall, trying to get chased down. Flash from the Ruthless Predator. One more auto, but Alive is going to steal that one away. It's 5 kills over to LZS.
5 kills. Rift Herald spawned. Drake available. Everything working out for them. That's a great little play. Devil Milk, he might be in a little bit of trouble here. Will use the ult to make distance from Idris there, but overall, yeah, a lot done there as they do swing that Rift Herald down towards the mid. Will it hit in time? It will. Buster
is here, but he's on vision. Has to be a little bit careful. Crashdown's going to come through, knocked out of it by the belly bot, but Idris is now here. Nice explosive cast used defensively there. Can Buster start to make an escape with the Magnet Storm? I have to assume it's no. Tommy's got the flip. No, a nice flash away, but Jackie is here on the bottom side. Picks up the shutdown gold. Tumi now potentially in trouble. Mega Death Rocket comes through. The Ignite, Crashdown taking away. One more auto is going to come through. The Ignite procs it. Henry Rocks is now excited. Jackie's on the run. In the meantime, the Dragon was picked up by Mouse Dixie, but Jackie will be going down in trade. Shut down over to Zinkara. Henry Rocks, unfortunately, not able to pick up any of that credit, but still getting excited.
We are in an 18-minute game, and there is 10 kills total, and there's 6 towers taken.
It's a macro game, all right.
Oh, TP used as well to try and catch Alive on the way out, but Devil Milk, he will not find them. We'll just find the wall where they were as they ride that one straight out into their own jungle. And I have to say, Talia on release with that wall was crazy.
Oh, yeah. We are going to get a quick replay here of what exactly happened on this bottom side. I think Henry Rocks must have grabbed tower aggro at some point. Yeah, just one auto too many. Picked up the tower aggro, and Jackie just got the shutdown from there.
Yeah, and I was calling the Talia TP because I was like, oh, they could wall them off here and they could lock them into that lane. And I was just like, no, there's just going to be a Pantheon dropping on the Jinx's head instead. But alive, yeah, the call was made. We're going to fight this. We're going to go straight for this one. And it's turned into a massive win for them as Idris is going to continue to put the pressure on the Devil Milk Tea. But you saw how immediately after they got those kills, it was moved into so much more. It was Drakes, it was towers, it was Rift Herald usage. It was like the go button was hit and they sent everything they had, and then as soon as that's over they go back. But back on live we have a little bit of a fight happening in the middle as Buster is in a lot of trouble and will maybe make this out. Tumi's thinking about using the flash.
Yeah, I think with the cask and with all that mobility that Gragas has thanks to the dash and the loop head, is going to be able to walk out here. Thankfully enough for him. It is also an Ocean Soul map. It feels like there are so many different things to keep track of. Ocean Soul Rift unlocked. LZS did pick up that Ocean Dragon Sword, now 2 dragons away. And it's not a Baron spawning at 20 minutes anymore. If you look to the bottom side of your screen, down on that mini-map, it's Otacon on the bottom side of the Rift here. I will say, as much as I feel iffy about Otacon as a whole, the fact that he swaps like whatever side he spawns on, just depending on like randomness in the game, I think that's cool. I think that's a lot of fun.
It's depending on where most of the kills are. So the more fighting there is on, it's more trading based than kill based than anything else. But that's a big if.
Wants to find Henry. Mal60 trying to chase his one down. The Cool doing a great job defending. The blast going over the wall. Henry Rocks will be able to escape. A Cool might be the sacrificial lamb that has to die. Oh, but now there's a crocodile, as he said. Jackie just says, hey, a free Jinx for me? You shouldn't have. Grabs that one up, and I think down and AD carry down to support. LZS are just going to say, hey, we'll just turn over to this Otacon.
I think it's a golden rule of League of Legends that it's always crocodile-infested waters.
Yeah.
You just stay away from it. This is Florida. You just stay away from it. But to me, just gonna... See, saying that as an Irishman living in Ireland, I'm not sure if that joke hits, but I've heard Florida has a lot of gators.
As an American, you're good. You hit it right. Okay. Gator-infested waters. That's the one.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, they're going to get this voracious Otacon, which means they're going to get their false life. So for anyone wondering what that is, it's similar to GA, but you withdraw. What that means is when you die, whoever kills you gets 200 gold, which is not concurrent of bounties. It means absolutely nothing, and they immediately respawn back on their fountain after like 3-4 seconds. It is the easiest way for any team to go, hey, we can fight at any point. Send it.
Yeah. It's meant in these slower games to try and incentivize these teams to fight and to play more aggressively, as the name Voracious would imply. A nice 2-man shove from Alive, and they want the blood. Zinkar's gonna go all out. There's the first withdrawal. Back goes Mal60, and now goes Idris as well. The dive finds one. They lose 2 revives, but hey, it's just revives. You're fine with that. Toomey is gonna try and use this revive. He's gonna be able to pick up the turret as well. Alive goes. There goes Toomey. No one really died for them, and they get a turret out of it. I feel like they're calling worth.
100%. They get, what, like 800 gold, and they crack the base? Like, that's absolutely exceptional. Devil Milk Tea also goes down on that one. Bounty's still safe in their pockets. That money is still available. No one is stealing that off them. If the bounties could be taken during that, it might be a little bit better. What do you think?
I think it might be too punishing and probably would still incentivize them to just play safely, but I do think they made the right call, making it at least 200 gold, as Toomey wants to keep fighting, but Toomey, you don't have that false life buff anymore, and neither does Idris, as they might be in trouble. Depth charge used to knock up the Kalista. They want to chase down Toomey. Alive's coming through with the wall, though. It might just be the turnaround. Cool wants to find the last hit, but Toomey survives with the sliver of HP. Idris running forward right to the charm. Idris, what are we doing, buddy? Shut that over to Devil Milk Tea, and now Mal6 is going to be the one in trouble. We'll pick up a trade at least 1-for-1. But now with the dragon spawning, it's shutdown gold over to the Jinx. There is a crocodile on the other side of the wall, though. Playing the slow game, has that dominance, still has the false life as well, so what's happening? Just play aggressive, picks up one on Cool, wants to find some more. Nice knockback from Zinkara. The flash in. Jackie wants more. Alive comes in and picks up 2. A huge play for the crocodile on the top side. Devil Milk Tea might be the next to go. Jackie will withdraw, but happily so, making the play happen for his squad.
Crocodile infested waters, crocodile infested forest, crocodile is everywhere, and it is terrifying. And Jackie it is just Florida now. Noxus is Florida. Oh, that would be such a funny skit in my head. But look, this is the way LZS want to be playing. They constantly have this Renekton just lurking in the shadows, ready to clean up fights. And no matter what happens, Idris, we will forgive that small lapse in judgment when you jumped over a wall to try and attack an Ahri. We'll leave that one out. But in the end, they still get the Drake. Overall, they still win the fight. Overall, it's a 4 for 4, but couple of bounties, but the Drake is the most important thing, and alive was still alive at the end of that bounty wasn't taken. That was the biggest one. So now they just slow the tempo down again. That they go back to what they were doing so well. They don't allow space for TMGW to find those fights again. By their time, they have the gold advantage, and it's kind of massive.
Yeah, and when you're thinking about slower games, you do sort of expect the Jinx team to have an advantage to be able to play a slower game and let the Jinx scale, but she's still only on 2 items, looking to start up that third with the swiftness boots and inventory for some extra added safety. But it just seems like LZS are playing a slow game on purpose here. They're saying, okay, we'll play it slow, but if we take a fight, we're going to take everything we can afterwards. This is some really smart, good, methodical macro play. You love to see it.
You do love to see. I also love to see just crazy team fights every now and then. But I think the thing that's kind of holding Jinx back right now is the lack of LDR. They don't have that armor penetration, and there's no one with a black cleaver to even aid that in Jinx's favor. And then on the other side, there's no one else that's doing enough damage at the moment for Henry Rocks to even try and get an assist to get excited. They're missing out on these. And right now, Baron being taken, they can't see it. They're just going, we'll take the tower, we'll get the bounty. They can have a Baron. It's something, I guess, but it's still scary for Alive.
Gets the charm onto Alive. They might find that bounty. They just need one more auto. Milksy's gonna dash in and find that shutdown. Mouse Dixie tries to get the execute. Picks up Henry Rocks. The damage on that Pantheon is massive. Devil Milksy trying to dash through and get some kills. But now they're fighting into a Baron buff squad. The Fate's Call used defensively to try and keep Idris alive. Zinkara goes all out over the wall, but Idris does not care. Has the Crocodile in the back pocket. Jackie picks up 2. It's a Baron buff and 4 over to LZS.
I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying before, that Jackie was doing so well in that lane swap situation and staying constant in the game. And Zinkara just does not have the same effect in this game. It's just close Jackie all over this. That Renekton is making mincemeat of the opposition, and it's really a testament to how well they're playing to that lane swap kind of meta. And nothing against the rest of the team, they're all playing exceptional, but Club Jackie, big shout out there.
Yeah, I feel Jackie and Alive really are the 2 big benefactors in this game, and the 2 big playmakers as well for this LZS squad. And you know, coming into week 1, a lot of the times we don't really know exactly what to expect out of these teams. We don't have a lot of the same rosters like you see in either LCS or LCK, where it's like, oh, I know a bunch of these players, maybe a couple of them swapping over here and there, but the rosters and the team styles remain mostly the same. But with new teams, with new players and new excitement.
Oh my god.
There's a really
Henry
nice
Rock is feeling that, lands directly on them, and then Toomey pulling them all back. Look at how free firing this Kalista is on the backside. No one can even touch Kalista. Finally, the all out comes through. There's already 4 or 5 spears inside Cassante, and you're just surrounded by 3, and Club Jackie taking the kill, as they should.
Yeah. And again, with these new teams, we don't always exactly know what to expect, and I think now coming out of this game number 1, as we assume as long as this game keeps going as projected, LZS will take the win. This is a very good start for their squad, and they're already putting themselves down as a team to beat here. And this is just game number 1.
I've written down here on my little notepad, Pantheon seems good.
Yeah, for
I'm really liking it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Mouse 60 did opt with the attack, as Shove is not going to land onto Zinkara, but Toomey wants the all-in with that Magnet Storm. They're looking for the fight. Idris again, free-firing. You see Devil on the backline looking for some extra damage, but this R just doesn't do enough yet. Henry Rock is going to get 1 reset. That Night's Vow keeping them alive. Super Mega Death Rocket won't land. They're going to lock down the Croc, but Croc is mad. He goes into the backline, picks up a triple kill for himself. Milksy is forced to flash away defensively. The last member standing on this TMGW squad, as 4 members for LZS stand strong and are going to look to shut down game number 1.
Jackie has just taken this one by the horns and just showing that Renekton, no matter how vanilla people might think it is still a very strong pick. Ace to finish 22-9. LZS, for such a slow-paced game, when they want to increase the tempo, they can.
Yeah, and when that tempo is increased, they will take everything with it, including, like you said, that game number 1. And I do think the big advantage here for our TMGW squad is the fact that, hey, we don't have to see Jackie on Renekton again for the rest of this series. We don't have to see Moustixie on that Pantheon because it's Fearless. They don't have to get baited into a Jinx comp again. They don't have to worry about any sort of Kallistas or Rels. They get a full reset coming into game number 2, and they get a chance to show their stuff coming in again.
Yeah, I think one of the things we will have to speak about is how comfort pick these might be based. These might be some of their favorite champions, and that might change things up. Fearless might shake up game 2, but a lot of strong champions now have been taken off. The Kallista's gone, Jinx is gone, Rel is gone, Renekton is gone, and Cassante is gone. We're going to have a very different game 2 here, and I don't think macro will be a leading factor in this one. And will we see that Riven sneak through? Maybe?
Maybe a Riven, maybe even a Ruinous Otacon if we get so lucky, but we'll have to see if we get lucky on the other side of this break. When we come back, we'll be jumping into the draft for game number 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. We are here getting ready for game number 2 between LZS and TMGW. I'm still Britty. That's still Sater. I'm going to remember to pronounce that correctly from here on out. But a rather slow game number 1, but I think a very good game number 1 is what I would say. While it wasn't the most entertaining at times, LZS looked damn good any time that they picked a fight.
I'd rather use the term heavily accelerated than slow because it went very slow at the start, but they kept like pressing that pedal down, and eventually we were like, oh, it's over. Like it was very, very good the way they played it, and we cannot give them enough credit for it. But it's fearless. We're going into game 2. Things could change very, very quickly, and with so many key picks off of it, I'm going to expect to see a Varus. I might see that Caitlyn ban sneak through again. I just want to talk about bot lane before we go to any other lane, because Idris and Henry Rocks, they were the ones we were kind of focused on before. We saw Club Jackie come through with the Florida kind of style Gator and take over the rest of the game. But that bot lane, I want to see a Varus come through. And Caitlyn, we've seen it banned. It might get banned again. Is there any other ADC, bar Corki, that might creep into this one?
You've mentioned Caitlyn. We don't see Jinx Callista. You mentioned Varus. There is the Xayah, who we've seen crop up every once in a while if there's a heavy engage style composition. Draven has been seeing a little bit of play here and there if the AD carry is confident enough. I wouldn't even mind something like an Ashe if you have a damage heavy topside. I think genuinely every single AD carry nowadays is almost always viable. There might be a situation where, like, yeah, we really can't pick something like Twitch here or like Kog'Maw. Pretty rough to pilot here, but I think you can pretty much
Twitch in that pile. Don't you do that to my boy.
Look, there's a lot of times where Twitch is difficult to fit into a team composition. If he doesn't have a Lulu or a Yumi, then, you know, sometimes you can't always play the game you want to play.
Yeah, but you can still just go invisible, run around the map, and have a good time.
Gotta hunt for that cheese. But here, speaking of cheese, we're jumping into game number 2. And if you see down there at the bottom of your screen, all the way down at the bottom, those 10 champions on the bottom there, unpickable here for game number 2. So you don't have to worry about banning them, and they're not going to be picked either, as we're jumping into the bans right away.
Yeah, nothing changing so far. We should see the Caitlyn come through now into the third one, unless they want to take it first pick here. LZS might be looking towards that one. So Hui is gone. Going to swap this one over. I'm kind of hoping to see maybe the Caitlyn go through here. I do think Caitlyn does open up a lot more opportunities, but no, it's going to be taken away. So Xayah, Varus, Corki on my mind.
I kind of hope you don't see Corki. I've been watching, again, I said earlier, a lot of LEC recently. Corki is absolutely awful. But hey, there's another champion that snuck through the draft that has been incredibly overpowered. Skarner, probably inarguably the best tank jungler, one of the best champions in the game currently. This champion just does everything.
Yeah, and then what you do in answer to that one is make sure that you can then do exactly what Skarner does by taking it. By just completely engulfing that champion, saying, no, I play Skarner now. Which is one of Viego's favorite things to do. But we will see the Corki. Do they take the Victor to stop that Corki and Victor combo? It could be a good choice. If they get Victor Vi or Victor Viego here, Vi should be the answer as well. They could move that Skarner up towards the top side, but Smolder coming through. LZS are going to try and do what TMGW did with the Jinx and just scale it out.
Scale it differently. Not as gated by items, but a little gated by time, as Smolder doesn't need time to get those stacks up, and is flexible between mid and bottom lane, potentially even top if you want to get a little spicy. But blind Smolder top, I don't think is what we're expecting. It is going to be paired up with the Karma if it does end up going to the bottom side. Great little poke comp that they've got going on in this bottom lane. Difficult for Corki to play in as a, before level 6, a pretty low range AD carry, but with the Rakan, should be a little bit harder for the LZS bottom lane to actually pilot this one out and play the 2v2.
Yeah, the Azir ban's coming through, so they're going to focus more on that mid lane. Corki could get moved to the mid as well. We should see maybe Corki Smolder in the mid lane, change it up, play Lux ADC, as I've seen quite a bit as well, because ADC doesn't matter anymore, Riot. We'll move on from that. We'll get a Yun Tal buff. I'm sure that'll fix things. Yeah, it's going to be Lissandra taken away, which is probably my apex pick right now. If you want to win mid lane and win games, just pick Lissandra, because there's so much fighting in solo queue. You get one assist and just that passive will just rip through teams very, very quickly. You have survivability, dashes, very strong pick, but we're going to see a Yone. That's an LEC favorite right there.
Oh yeah, a blind Yone here as well. As while it could be Smolder in the mid lane, this is just going to allow LZS to pretty much counterpick this the way that they want. I almost would have preferred if TMG picked the top laner here and just allowed that Corki to stay flexible, but this is a great counterpick to the Yone. Playing a melee versus a Nivea is never a fun time, even with the sustain that Yone has, and life is going to be difficult in this lane.
Is it
They're not going to go with AP. LZS is going to grab the Jax. AP for TMGW, which you're absolutely right.
They need AP right now.
There's Rumble, there's Mordekaiser, there's Maokai, or there's Ambessa. Finally get to cast one of her games. Excited to see this new champion lock down onto the Rift. Speaking of new champions, in case you're wondering why she hasn't popped up in the draft at all, Mel is disabled for these first, I believe it's 2 weeks of Titan here, so we won't be seeing her at the very least until week 3 and beyond. But yeah, like said, this is an AD heavy draft for TMG. Ambessa and Viego build Black Cleaver, and hopefully that's enough, because otherwise, I'm kind of with you here. Jax and Skarner are going to be...
They're all AD focused with auto attacks, apart from Ambessa, who just does weave some abilities in. They have Jax and Skarner.
Yeah, with a Karma.
They're all nearly melee as well. Corki's not long range. Corki can't hit you from a mile away. This is crazy drafting.
This is going to be a rough game, I feel, for TMG coming into this game at number 2. I wonder how Pro Comps feels about this particular draft, as we're going to have some ships passing in the night here. TMG hunting out a potential lane swap, whereas LZS are just looking for the pure invade.
I'm just telling you right now that if everyone on TMGW right now goes to the merch store and buys a mug, they'll win this game.
That's true. It is worth mentioning. You saw it at the draw show if you were there. But in case you weren't, Titan Esports has merchandise. And now you should be able to go pick up your own t-shirt, sticker, hoodie, mug, anything you'd like to help support us over here at Titan and show off your swag. But I do also want to say, anytime that there is a Karma on screen, as we see the Pro Comps draft score here, LZS, fairly favored. Not incredibly, but still fairly favored. Anytime I see a Karma on screen, I have to go on a rant. Tumi already has Airy and Heal, which gives me hope. But if I see Malignance plus Zazax in this inventory for a damage-focused Karma, I will...
Oh, Birdie, you make me so happy. You're a human.
Dreammaker is in the best spot that it's been in since it's been added. The item is so good. You can go Moonstone. You can go any of the Forbidden Idol items. As Jumi is going to eat a little bit of damage here, but I think they're okay with it. As Idris is set to get an extra stack and be fine with it.
Be fine with it, but takes half his health. That could be a very quick Viego gank to the bot side. But Karma, anyone that builds full AP Karma is trolling right now. If you see the shields you can get from the Dawn Core, oh my god.
I'm so like,
as a support main that moved to ADC, if I see a Karma with shielding, I was like, I've won this game. There's no way they kill me.
It's difficult to burst through her. Especially if there's no one on the enemy team who can build the Serpent's Fang. And while there is like Ambessa Viego who could potentially have it for TMG, it keeps them away from building Bruiser, which if Ambessa and Viego don't get resets, if Yone's not allowed to like play for the early resets, it's a little bit difficult for them, especially into this Skarner Jax that we keep talking about. And speaking of Jax, Jackie has to be careful here. Does have these stunning strike there. Is going to be able to get away. Flashes out. Buster eats a tower shot. But they're not able to lock Jackie down. He will survive the gang.
Yeah, Jackie's going to be high on momentum right now as well. We have to remember that. He's played an exceptional game one, and he's going to be feeling themselves going through this one. It's going to be very, very comfortable for the Jax to continue this one. After a game like that, you've got to be feeling great, comfortable, and you see that, like, even stepping back in to get the stun and then flashing instead of just flashing immediately. It's been like, yeah, I can still stun you on this one, don't worry about it. And Malstixi also now in this top side, there's no vision up there for Zemkara, so this counter gank to come after this could be very important, but Zemkara will recall and play it safe because that 3:30 timeline means someone could be here.
Yeah, I do like the potential recall from Zemkara. Maybe just looking to investigate the river a little bit more, see if they can't get some vision on Malstixi doing this Scuttle Crab. Will get spotted. I didn't see any pings go down, so maybe no communication there, but you know, they're in voice comms, so potentially they're just calling out, hey, Skarner is on that top side. He's going to be spotted on the ward now, so we'll definitely be seen. But we'll just be triggering the first Scuttle Crab for both sides. But again, I think LZS are happy to just take this game slow. Like we mentioned in draft, it's a full AD composition versus Jax Skarner. I feel like we can't say that enough. That's a hard game to play.
Yeah, it's a hard read on that one, and like a Thornmail here ruins the game for TMG. They're going to have a very, very tough time if they're getting reflective damage, especially off a Skarner. And we will see the Heartsteel come out, of course. We have to, right? It's one of those items that's just fun.
I wouldn't even mind a Randuin's here. Second item for Malstixi. Between Yone and Corki both applying crits, and Viego maybe going for a crit strike build, as he is sometimes oft to do. I do wonder if Jax is going tank here, though, on the Jax. As I see the tier and the Ruby Crystal in inventory. Is this tank adjacent Jax?
It'll be a Fimbulwinter more than likely, to start us off at least, and then it might change up a little bit. We might even see a Zhonya's come out, which we see quite often on kind of some of the more... Let's see this one though.
Good counter strike by Jackie, dissuading a lot of the engage. Zemkara is going to get some poke in, but again, with that Ruby Crystal, Jackie's just tanky enough to walk that one out. And again, absorbing pressure up here on this Jax. Great call for Jackie.
Yeah, having a great time up there. It's just like, oh, I'm playing weak side and getting ganked. Okay, cool. That's fine by me. I've lost my flash and you still couldn't kill me. So a lot of good time there. Idris, that's a weird position to be.
One more auto. Henry doesn't have the flash. Can't follow up into Toomey, who still has the flash of their own. But now Idris turning around is going to find Burst of Blood. Devil Milk Tea with the Fate Sealed will find one back as Toomey's forced to flash away. But First Blood over to the Smolder. You got to be feeling good for LZS.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Toomey will actually get killed by Devil Milk Tea on the end of that. A little bit of a risky recall, as that is a great little Skarner slide and drive. Takes one down, Zemkara now, and that
steals the kill away from Jackie. No kill over to the Jax. But, you know, kill on Skarner in a game like this, you're not feeling too upset about. It looks like it is going to be the objective at trade as well. But even across the board so far, 1 for 1 and 1 for 1. And teams a little bit far ahead in gold. LZS nearing about a couple hundred, nearing 1,000 gold here in the lead.
Nearing 1,000. Yeah, I'm looking at this right now and I'm thinking like this grub fight could be a deciding factor right here. As Ambessa will have first clear on this one. We'll be able to get there first. Club Jackie needs to recall and then TP. The ult is available for Zemkara as well. What are they going to do?
Yeah, Live had to flash away. Mouse Dixie is not going to be able to get that third grub. Got 2 of them, but gets knocked up, locked down. And 3 kills to TMG. Like you said, a feat of warfare. Not first turret, not first objectives. It's first kills this time, as it should be.
Yeah, we're returning to the normal here, but yeah, TMGW, they're feat of warfare. They're here to fight. Uh-oh.
Jackie is going to get the stun, but that knockup is still going to come through. Public execution. Jackie is marked for death, but do they have the damage? The Grandmaster's might comes through. The tank stats so much, but not able to survive. And Zenkar will be able to dash out, and so will Buster. Everyone will live for TMG.
Third time lucky on the gang top, I suppose. Club Jackie is shutting down for the moment, but look at the tower damage coming through from LZS. They were having such a good time in that bot side. Look at all those plates. Smolder happily scaling away, and they're going to get one of their feats back at least, as Malstixie knows there's an opportunity here for something, as Rakan had to back from that top side. Malstixie, need to push this way fast, guys.
Yeah, Smolder wants the stack, so it will be a little bit slowed up, but I don't think Henry's going to have a lot of support here. Cooled is going to come through, but with no summoners, no level 6, Henry in a bit of trouble. Does have the Valkyrie, though, gets away from the Skarnery, so they will just end up leaving. The tower does go through, so feat of domination over to LZS. They grab the turret. The 1-to-1 in feats, and now, like you said, those objectives become so important for the rest of this game.
Yeah, we have to remember also that the grubs were split between LZS and TMGW, so there's only 1 stack of that feat available for TMGW right now, so they can get a good cooldown kind of rush on the next 2 because of the time taken between grubs and Drake, so they might have a good chance. Malstixie in a little bit of trouble here, but
yeah, but he plays
through the walls.
Right into the hands of Buster, though. No, flash now available, has to be used, so Malstixie will manage to get the heck out of dodge, but losing an important summoner there is Alive pushing up a bit aggressively here. I don't know if he's going to try and trade back, but a nice little stun into the face rush onto the bird. It just means there's no chance of catching her. She's flapping her wings pretty damn fast.
Yeah, if you need to pick up speed on Anivia, that's one way to do it. That's an interesting take, though. I haven't seen a phase rush Anivia in a very long time, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It does make it a lot harder for Yone.
Ooh, Idris manages just to pick up the kill credit there on the top side, as Zenkara does go down to the 3v1. And Bess is strong, she's not that strong as Milty trying to trade back versus Alive, but like we said in draft, melee versus Anivia, not a fun time.
No, it's a great little pick, as we want to see a replay of this topside Zenkara. Maybe just not showing respect on this one, as they do get chunked out decently by Club Jackie. They have no energy here.
Yeah, dash back in, gets rooted up, and they're just going to be able to donate it over to Idris. Beautiful stuff there.
Yeah, and look at all these plates going over as well as we do jump back to live. They are just chunking away on all they need, as the Essence Reaver already completed for Idris.
Okay, something else I want to call out, in case people have not read their patch notes. Smolder recently got buffed, but it is only a buff if you buy Infinity Edge. Smolder Q now works with Infinity Edge, so the extra damage scaling on that critical strike damage does apply to Q. Idris, careful, in trouble. Public execution is going to come through. Mom cannot save you from the might of Noxus. Zenkara is going to lock that one down. And now the fate sealed down on the Malstixie. It'll be 2 over to Ambessa.
Yeah, Rakan making a big difference there. So you see Henry Rocks just taking a decent chunk of damage. Just what I was saying about the low range comp coming through from TMGW, that Anivia is going to have a field day in any sort of corridor, and we just saw the 1v1 there. Not as close as we'd like in a corridor, but even in situations like that, no one can really get to that bird, as Idris is going straight back to this. Will they find that in time? Nope.
Oh, close.
You shift click bushes. You shift click bushes. Please.
Alt click, shift click, A click, whatever you want to call it. Just get an auto attack off as you're entering that bush and get that canceled or recall. But again, I do want to point out, as I was interrupted there, as long as Idris buys the Infinity Edge, this is a buffed Smolder. Otherwise, it is exactly the same as it was last patch, as the plates are going to go down for Idris and Toomey. Plenty more gold in the pocket of this Smolder. And it's just more power over to this pick, as might be a bit of trouble here. Buster over the side. Idris is going to get over the wall, and Cool stepped up a little bit too far. Idris has the damage. He's going to lock that one down into the wall. Rooted up. Ishtal supremacy, but Buster survives the pick. Now has the body of 2. He picks up 1, picks up 2. Alive, you're trying to make some work done on this Anivia, but 1v3, 1.5v3 with that Scar, with the Smolder over the wall. This means that there's not enough to be done, and TMG again come out ahead in the fight.
Yeah, Alive gonna do their very best here to try and get one back from this one as Club Jackie is making their way around the corner. It's gonna be a close fight, but Idris with Mom.
Buster doesn't have the ult. He has to use that flash to get the heck out of dodge, but now Alive is going to be able to find Henry. Zenkara teleported in. The public execution available. Finds Jackie with a shutdown already over to Alive. Zenkara wants to chase down some kills. Just doesn't have the damage yet. Cool's going to get in. Flash for the double knockup. Does Zenkara have the cooldown? Do they have anything? Anivia's just slowing them all down. The Blizzard just means that there's no entry point. Anivia kites it out, and there's nothing that TMG can do.
Yeah, we do see the Crows being restarted here by Buster on the other side, though. Is they're going to try and chase this one down. They're taking their time with it. Yone might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Oh, doesn't get the Fate sealed off onto 3, but Zenkara now gets to start dashing away. The egg gets popped. Zenkara now in a 1v1 with Tui, but not for long. Buster here alive, respawning. It's now a 2 versus 2. Tui's not the target, though. They want the bird. They want those scrambled eggs. The root's going to come down. Buster manages to size to it. Zenkara doesn't have the mobility to get through. Somehow Alive gets to walk away. Objectives go over to both sides. LCS picks up one and TMG picks up another. It's a bloody game here for game number 2.
Yeah, this is the game we wanted. Just a messy game where just kills keep happening, and we get to see like the micro. Tumi, please, don't do it to them. Don't do it.
Oh, Buster actually fell. Oh, and I saw those procs to me. That's a Malignance, and that is a Zazak's Realm Spike. Shutdown goes over, but I'm so disappointed, to me. You were the chosen one.
100 stacks already as well for Idris. Thank you. That update, that timing. That's talking about stacks. Nope, doesn't matter. They're just gonna immediately kill off Cool One. Look, it's macro versus micro right now when TMG are just forcing fights constantly, and then Buster dying to the 1v1 support battle right there. But Malignance has been taken. Do you want to talk about this for a minute?
Yeah, look, this is a build that is now, I feel like 5, 6, upwards of 10 patches behind. Dreammaker is so good, Dawncore is so good, as WLC is going to proc that Fate Unsealed in the mid lane, looking for Idris. Gets the knockup, but not much else. Henry Rocks dashes in, trying to get some damage in. Idris already pretty low, can't manage to trade back, so we'll just end up walking away. And yeah, Tumi, you do some damage, but your poor little Smolder there is taking too much.
Smolder taking too much damage, but they do have something happening in the top side. Alive just going to put up walls. Just yeah. What do we say about that? Anivia is just such a fun champion, right?
Alive's like a teenager in therapy. They just keep putting up walls and not letting anybody get in.
You know what? I like that. Even that. I'll write that down. I was gonna go for America jokes with Trump, but yeah, that makes sense too.
Ooh, speaking of, Jackie's just going to dive onto Henry Rocks here, pick that one up. Double Milk Tea will end up getting the revenge, so it will be 1 for 1, but it's another turret down, 1 gold over to the Smolder. He is going for this Infinity Edge second, so Idris reading those patch notes, he's going to get that buff to Smolder going as a nice pickup from Mal60 there, denies the dash in, but now Buster wants to get in onto the Smolder. The defenses are not enough. Idris goes down and Buster picks up the body. Tumi now on the run, has to flash away from the Grand Entrance. Will be able to survive, but lost your poor little dragon along the way.
Yeah, so Dragon down, a little bit of time now, but no objectives available for TMG. They don't think about what they're doing when they're fighting. They're just thinking about the fight itself, and they have no setup at all to get towers pushed down for anything. They haven't taken a single tower. They've got Drakes, they've got Grub advantage, but they haven't used it to acquire anything else on the map or apply map pressure. And I think this is something that they're going to have to work on in the future. As we've seen this before, where their fights were so, there's a chance at a fight, let's take it, but there was no follow-up afterwards. Well, LZS, they seem to take their fights around certain objectives. We saw them before with the Drake, Rift Herald, Akatan, Rush, which kind of opened up the game for them and gave them much more. But right now, they're looking towards this top side. They don't have a wave available. It's pushed in. Alive has plenty of time, but Tumi is finding way too much here.
Yeah, Tumi is going to get the root down on the Buster. Tumi will be able to survive for a little bit longer, but Henry finds the last auto, and Mal60 will follow behind. Mom comes through, not finding any value, and now the public execution, Fate sealed, everything onto the back line. That poor dragon is shut down. Mom cannot save you from Noxus and Ionia working together. And it's just a much better fight here.
Look, straight into an objective.
This is the kind of fights we were looking for. Yeah, they take the fight, they get a couple kills, and they say, hey, there's a Herald spawning. Let's grab that. This is...
Speed of war complete.
Yeah, that's 3 objectives for them. So yeah, Feat of War. That means they get the triumphant boots and the potential upgraded ones in the future. Speaking of items, I did also just want to call out, it's not the Fimbulwinter that we expected. Eggs for breakfast, maybe, here in the mid lane. Devil Milk Tea is going to find that one, so Buster will grab the body. Now, Stixie maybe wants to find a follow fight with Jackie here. 3v4. Cool may just end up being the sacrifice here. That's some good support gameplay. Let your carries walk away. You take the death for them.
Yeah, they're going to try and get this mid tower now, but Mbessa is on the side. Buster regenerating that health by finishing off that camp. There could be a fight available, but they don't have an ADC. Henry Rocks is still stuck in that top side trying to get that tier 1 tower. Their first tower taken, while LZS, they're going for a tier 3. They're going to try to open the base.
Yeah, they've got the push powers, and Kara's here for a little bit of wave play, but does have to play a little carefully. Buster on the side, inside that unhallowed mist. Just gets spotted out by the pink ward, but can't do much else. And it will just be LZS turning over to this Cloud Dragon. Not Cloud Dragon, sorry, that's a Hex Tech Dragon for themselves. That overlay, still not telling us the right dragon. Thank you, Riot Games.
Oh, that'll never get fixed. More
Look,
important to add more jungle objectives.
Surely, right?
You just have to add in more jungle objectives. Like Rift Scuttle wasn't enough. They had to have Scuttle Crabs in as well. And then they had Grubs, a Nakatan. Just more and more. But the Drake is very low. No one's taking it yet.
Now Stixie will finally lock that one up. And now the fight's going to get started. TMG looking for a big start. But now Stixie with the Impale is going to shut a few members down. Jackie's going to go crazy. Picking up 2. Looking for a 3rd. Triple kill over to the Jack. Buster and Henry Rocks on the run as Stixie wants a little bit more. Trying to get some kills over to the squad. The green smite in to slow down Henry Rocks. Run more rock to the back and Toomey with a shot. No, now Stixie has enough damage to just shut him down. Buster outside of vision currently, looking for a safe spot to recall. I don't think the members of LZS know where he is, so he'll be able to get it out, but a straggling member is not much of a win for TMG.
No, Diego got out. Massive. Important. No, like it's another one of those fights where they just got so split immediately, and Alive had so much free time. They did manage to get onto Idris and separate the Smolder and eliminate the Smolder from the fight, but the damage had already been done because Malstixie had the inside track. Alive was doing damage, and Club Jackie was just free hitting on this Jax, which is one of the champions I highlighted alongside Malstixie. Is how are you going to kill that later? All you do is auto attack damage.
Yeah, and look at those item builds for both the tanks up there on the top side, the plated steel caps and the Warden's Mail. Auto attack damage reduction and auto attack damage reduction. Nice little sidestep from Toomey there to get away from Buster, but yeah, it's just how do any of these champions do damage to these tanks? Is Jackie happy to take the 1v1 with Devil Milk Tea? Is this Yone doing damage? I can't see the numbers moving. Jackie's just too tanky. Alive helps out, but that's practically a 1v1 for the Jacks.
On the other side, though, we do see Henry Rocks going in onto Idris here, but the damage trade back from 1Q. Did you see that chunk?
Yeah, Smolder with the Infinity Engine inventory. He does a bit of damage now. I love to see it.
It's Zenkara versus Club Jackie right now, and with Fimbulwinter finally coming through. It's nearly stacked. You're going to see the timer going there as we do get a replay of this. So this is what I wanted to point out here. As soon as this split happens, everyone dives onto Alive and Idris. Look at this. As soon as this happens, look where Malstixie is in this fight. No one can go past Malstixie here. They have to send out Henry Rocks. Cool One is gone. And Nivea's holding them back, and Malstixie just pulls them all away. Damage is done right there. That's exactly what they needed to do. And now, the separation again. Henry Rocks and Buster never get a chance to even join the fight. That is crazy. I'm not sure if it's well played or a big mistake on both sides because there's so much going on.
It's a little of both. Some great tank gameplay there, I feel, from Malstixie and from Jackie, as we do have the ruinous Otacon started on that top side. You can see his head is black instead of red, so this is the objective focus one, but we're not here for objectives, we're here for fights. Malstixie wants to find it on to Zenkara. The Public Execution gets away from the Impale. Zenkara staying alive on the back line, and Bessa is gaming. Otacon will finally shut her down, but it's 2 kills over to Idris. In the meantime, Devil Milk Tea will find the dragon, finally shut him down, but now Jackie's has entered the fight, and say goodbye, TMG. Ace over to Toomey. LZS will find the Otacon as well.
Yeah, we might have to get a replay on that one, please, producer, as we missed the start of that one, as there was a lot of low health bars as that one begun, but I did see Yone just get
look at the flowers
right at the end, and yeah, you gotta crush some flowers.
It's ruinous Otacon. Before we get this replay, I do have to mention, this one is the one that's focused around objectives. Every objective that LZS has picked up is increased in value by 25%. Forever. It's not that GA that wears off eventually that you only get to use once. No, this is a permanent buff. 25% more power from the Hex Tech, 25% more from the Cloud, 25% more from those 2 grubs. It's huge value in games like this.
Buster is going to try and find something on the back of this one is alive. Does get sent straight to the egg. If they get that transform, it's free, but they're just going to walk away. Let that one time out. TP been used.
Sometimes you just got to let those eggs get scrambled.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's... just got to let it go. But yeah, this is where it starts. So, we see the wall off. Devil Milk Tea in a little bit of trouble. Goes over the wall. Doesn't get onto alive. That flash key there, as we do see Toomey. Now on the back. And the cool one, as they try to go in here, they do get the perfect knockup. Then the fight just changes as soon as Toomey launches this one in. Smolder gets the damage. Love Jackie as well. Just look at that menacing walk. Like, I've got this.
He doesn't care the rest of the team dies. He just says, hey, I'm full health, tank Jax. The enemy team cannot hurt me, so I'm just going to walk in. And no matter what happens at that point in the fight, they're feeling like a win.
Like, if Jackie walked up and done one loop around the top of that pit and walked back and everything was dead. Aura alone, just the right
pure
there.
Aura, yeah.
I may not be a crocodile this time, but it's Jack's infested waters.
Fisherman infested waters, I guess, this time, since he can fish for those extra little bits of gold.
Are we gonna somehow make a meme of Club Jackie being like a fishing resort?
He's just somehow always in the water. He's always there, no matter whether he's a fisherman, a crocodile, or a man with some angry Tofos. He's always in the water. He's always making it dangerous for the enemy team.
We're gonna rename him to Red Gyarados. He's shining in these games. Shining.
Yeah, I was about to say, shining in this game 1 and game 2 as Devil Milk Tea is going to get out of that soul unbound, has to get the heck out of dodge with Q3, loses the flash, but does manage to keep his life, and it's just a difficult game here for TMG.
Can you imagine this Hex Tech slow coming into this next one when Smolder hits with that? If they get soul and the bonus 25, it's going to be nasty.
25% increase is alive. Is going to take me into this turret. It is going to fall, so if it goes over. It's hard to lock down an Anivia if she just moves too quickly. Rocket is available. The Shirley is going to be used there just for disengage from cool, as the rest of the members of LZS are just happy to keep things going. Pull on the wall, the two-man impale! Wow, Stixie sets up the team for success, and Idris will feast! The dragon is online!
23-52, 2-2-5, and ready to roll, and the game is ready to end at this stage. Also, I want to coin the Anivia Phase Rush Flappy Bird.
How did we not think of that earlier? Oh my god, the Flappy Bird, it's right there. Two people finish off Buster trying to catch that wave, so Jungler down, but no objectives up for that smite to really be a worry. Baron's up at about 30 seconds. This still feels so strange. 25-minute Baron spawn. It feels bizarre.
Yeah, it does change so much. It's like that 20-minute cheese Baron is just gone now because it doesn't exist.
Now it's 20-minute cheese Otacon sometimes.
Trying to nerf T1. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but now T1's
can't let him do it again. Come on now.
Give me the repeat.
No, because he got finals win. Like we can't do it again. Can't. Impossible.
Finals win would look pretty good on their record, but it is going to be Jackie engaged on a little bit here. Sun comes through on the 2, and he's got the leaf strike out. I think Jackie's starting to take damage. They're hurting him a little bit, but the shields from Toomey and all of the Fimbulwinter damage just means nothing's coming through. Ricard's getting onto the backline, but Idris is awakened. The dragon roars, and down goes 1, down goes 2, over 2 Idris. Now Stixie will finally go down. Mom comes through. Jackie still managing to stay alive on this front line the whole time. Tank Jax by the way. Happy to do the work for the squad. Cool gets the Hearthstone up and gets to get the heck out of the base, but to the sounds of a shattered team, it's not doing much for him.
Yeah, and the Flappy Bird has finally arrived to this fight. They just never really joined that one, as they will have stepped back, but they feel like they can do this just with the TP coming in from Club Jackie. This could be the end of it right here. LZS going 2-0, and I have to say, for as well as Idris is doing in these games, Club Jackie has been phenomenal in game 1 and 2, and that's
Yeah.
where my MVP vote is going straight away. Look at this.
100%. MVP Jackie already tanking up 2 members, looking for more, goes godlike, picks up that extra bit of KDA before one more pole slap to finish it out. Lane 0 Sabers start their season off right, a 2-0 victory.
2-0, very comfortable, very strong start, and I have to say, Fearless really helped us out when getting a look at these teams, but Club Jackie just going back to the fundamentals of top lane. Playing tanky things that survive fights and just cause havoc across everything. Great work there from Club Jackie and both Malstixi. Tank play on that Skarner, exceptional. Alive, buying space. Idris damage to me, wrong build.
Yeah. As much as we can complain about the champion builds, it was a good look here for Lane 0 Sabers, and I want to say 2 different stylistically good looks for them. They had the much more brawly composition here in game number 2, looking for a bunch of fights, looking for plenty of like just damage across the board. And game 1 was a heck of a lot slower, and like we said, once they accelerated, they picked it up. But their early game, they were methodical, they were controlled. The first feat of strength to be picked up was a tower at 9 minutes. That shows some great macro play from them.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about that. We're just going to ignore that. But no, like,
it shows that they had they have good different styles to play. This is going to be a team to fear coming into the regular season.
Yeah, and we have to remember TMWG on the other side. They came alive in the second game. There was moments there where they really, really did bring it back, and I never like to just glaze the winners. I do want to see what they did. The macro game, the low tempo, they couldn't find the angle to kind of shove themselves into the game, and it just kind of fell apart for them. In this one, there was moments where the fights, they played it well, they done everything correctly, but they didn't have anything to pick up after it, so they just got the gold from the kills. There was no objective to be taken. The towers were still alive, and I guess we just have to go back to the draft. I think a Rumble top could have changed a lot of things there.
Rumble, Mordekaiser, or Maokai, just something with some magic damage really would have helped them out and stopped just the pure armor stack. I will say for TMGW, the one fight they had where they took the fight, got the win, and immediately turned to Herald, fantastic look from them. They took a fight, they pushed an objective. They didn't get to use it, unfortunately. I don't think we saw that Herald before the game ended, but it's the thought that counts. It's week 1 of the regular season. This is kind of just like you're figuring stuff out. A lot of these teams are players who have like been playing together for a little bit, but a bunch of them are also teams that just are 5 new players coming together and still trying to figure things out. Like, yeah, you scrim together, you practice in solo queue, but it's a totally different environment from actually being here on stage, quote unquote, as we don't have an official stage, but you know, on the
stage with us. Like, look at the casters, the quality of casters alone.
Exactly.
It builds the stage.
I'm so glad you get it. But yeah, it's a very different environment. These teams will take a little while to ramp up. And I think again, for TMG, signs of life. They had good showings. And for LZS, very happy to take a 2-0 start to your weekend, looking strong coming into the rest of the regular season. Again, this is going to be a team to be afraid of and a team to watch if you want your team to improve.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what TMGW will be doing in the future. I like the picks, and they're very meta focused. I love the Ambessa. I think it was a great pick. Just somewhere you needed a little bit of AP. But I'll be keeping an eye on them over the next while. I'll keep an eye on their game, see how they're getting on, because I do see a lot of really great micro coming through there. And I really want to see some more of it. And the safety in that bot lane. My God, in that first game, that Jinx was protected. And just a little bit more time, they could have had it.
Again, signs of life and good showings, I feel, from both squads. Unfortunately for TMG, it was LZS taking the 2-0 on the day. But again, it's week 1 of the regular season. Nobody's out of it just yet. It's not a season over just because your first week didn't end up great. You got plenty of time to improve, plenty of time to look towards playoffs as we get towards the rest of the season. But with that, that's going to be it for us tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. I've been What to Britty. That's been Sater. We have Chris Sunga and Anti in the back being our camera people and producer and doing everything they can to make sure the stream runs as smoothly as possible. We appreciate you all being here, and we'll catch you next week for more Vanquisher action. Have a good night.